Hello, my name's Kerry Martell, and I'm the author and host of RVLivingGuide.com. I will be your guide to adventure. And here we go. This is a topic which I've got a lot of experience with, dating while living full-time as an RVer. It's totally doable, guys. It's completely doable. I assume it's totally doable for women. I can't see any reason why. It's probably guys that have the hardest time because there's negative conceptions of people who live in trailers must be poor. Living in a trailer full-time, or any RV really, can be a very low-cost way to live compared to owning a home. That is true. But my trailer, this I bought for around $50,000 when I first got it, and then I invested an additional $15,000, $20,000 into upgrades and improvements to it. So that's about, $60,000, $70,000 more value. Then I had to have a vehicle to tow it, so I bought an F-350 truck. That's another 10 grand, and then I had to, make some improvements to that. So all in total, I've spent around $90,000 to have the setup that I currently have. And now I'm going to need to replace my fridge, because my fridge blew out while I was living full-time in Phoenix, Arizona, because it was like 120 degrees on some days. And the electrical system just couldn't handle that while even with the air conditioner running, probably because of the air conditioner running. Lost my convection oven, lost my fridge, had to replace my AC. AC cost replacement is more expensive than a home unit. And in fact, a lot of people that full-time RV living, they'll forego installing a real RV air conditioning, and they'll just get a cheaper unit to put in a window. But I didn't do that. I actually replaced this completely. That cost me about $1,000. My fridge, the cheapest I can get a new fridge, that's two-way. By two-way, it can use your electrical power for shore power, or it can run off of propane. That's going to be another $2,000. Yeah. So this is not cheap by any means when you have repairs. And there is always going to be some repairs that you're going to have to do. Then you need to consider the cost of fuel. So it's not that people live full-time in RVs are broke motherfuckers, because you can't live like this. If you're broke, you've got to have money. You have to. So that misconception is totally untrue. You have to have some degree of income in order to do this lifestyle. But you can save money by boondocking where you're not connected to shore power, not an RV site. You can definitely save money by boondocking. I saved a lot of money by boondocking. It's part of money that I put into Zenither, my startup. I found that living on a trailer is really not that hard. The type of women that I'm attracted to, that I'm looking for, is someone who, wants to go on adventures with me. Somebody who wants to have a similar kind of lifestyle. I've yet to find the right woman to be my full-time companion in life with, but nevertheless, I've dated, and it's really not a big deal for the women that I've dated. So it's unusual, sure, compared to what most men do, but it's really not that unusual that no one's ever heard of this before. It's not that complicated. Suggestions, the biggest, I would assume the biggest thing with having difficulties dating is that when she moves in, where's she going to put her stuff? I've got a lot of stuff in here, probably more than I actually need. I should get rid of some stuff. And there would have to be, accommodations made for her wardrobe, for her things that she needs to bring with her. So that would have to be sorted out. That's probably the biggest hurdle, really. Now, there's some people that they raise their whole families out of an RV. And when I was a kid, there was a period of time where my mother and my stepfather, they did live in a motorhome. But we had a motorhome, and we had a travel trailer. And us kids, we stayed in the travel trailer. It was a very small camper. I shouldn't even call it a travel trailer. It was like a very small camper with one actual bed. I think it was like the couch pulled out into a bed, and then the little table area turned into a bed. And that's basically where we slept. So some people raise their families out of campers and trailers. Totally doable. I suppose this trailer is large enough that you could do that. I probably wouldn't personally. I would get a regular house and just not live as a nomad. If it was me personally having family, I'd like to have my kids have some stability, stable friends, going to a regular school. That's what I would do. So I don't see this as being an issue. When I find the right woman to settle down with, I will give up my nomadic lifestyle, and this will become a closed chapter in my life that I can share with my children and my future grandchildren, tell them about my adventures as a full-time RV living nomadic person, traveling around, going place to place, and having many great memories. So yeah, because of dating apps, it's a lot easier to meet people now. You can just go on Tinder and OkCupid and Match.com and Plenty of Fish and all that jazz. So it's not too hard to meet people. The hardest thing really is to find a good person to meet. And if you want dating advice, you'll have to check out my blog, millennialgentleman.com. That's where I put all my relationship advice information. It's not specifically about relationships. I've been doing a lot of videos about that topic recently. But Millennial Gentleman is really just a men's lifestyle advice blog on how to be successful. I think some of the information should be relevant to women too, to get a male insight. But nevertheless, that's where all the relationship advice is really going to be. This is the RV Living blog, so this is what I'm going to talk about here, just RV specific stuff. I think that's pretty much, what I could really say about this topic. There's nothing really so unusual about living out of an RV, even if you're boondocking inside of a city, compared to, having a house, having an apartment. You just have a lot less space, and you're living out of a vehicle. But you're not like a bum or anything. You've got money. You look nice. You dress well. You have a job, or at least you have a business that you're self-employed through. So you don't really have any difficulties. Instead of having somebody stay over, long term and hang out, you just go to their place. What's the difference? So, found this video useful, interesting. You got any comments, questions? Let me know in the comments below. Like and subscribe if you found this useful. I'm Kerry Martell, your guide to adventure. Have a great one.